Welcome back to Stoke Hunters, everyone. This podcast is where we talk to different people around the world to hear their journeys and what good days they've found and how they hunt for more. Today in episode 5, we have Mia from Women's Mountain Bike Network joining us. For those who don't know, the Women's Mountain Bike Network is an amazing resource for all women mountain bikers. They talk about gear, bikes, components, coaches, trails, bike parks, literally everything mountain biking, all from a women's perspective. So please welcome Mia. Welcome.
Hello. Thank you. I love that intro.
Thank you. It's my first one. I'm learning every time as I go on these podcasts.
I know it's a total learning thing, isn't it?
It's exciting. I have 11 subscribers now, so.
Yay. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's been exciting. How's your week been?
Kind of busy, kind of crazy.
Yeah.
It's like Tuesday, but I'm coming down with like an ear infection. So ever since yesterday, I've been feeling a little off, but I feel better after I took some medicine like an hour ago. So I'm here. How about you?
Yeah, good. We announced my wife's pregnant. So coming in January 2nd, I called December baby month though, because babies come early, and she's like, as I'm going on the podcast, she's like, just so you know, I'm timing contractions right now, so if they don't cool, we might have to end the podcast today.
Oh my God, how exciting. What are you doing talking to me? You need to be next to your wife right now.
She's happy. I gave her food, chocolate covered almonds, water. We're good to go for the next hour.
How long has she been having contractions for?
She says they're about like 6 to 15 minutes apart right now.
Oh, okay. So you got a little bit to go.
Yeah, and they might go away because we've had that too.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a fun time.
You guys are brave, man. Really brave.
Well, our little one will at least join the Women's Mountain Bike Network in the future.
Yes. We need to get her a little onesie. Future shredder.
Yes. That'd be sick. So, can you tell me about a moment when you first fell in love with it, like the moment you first fell in love with mountain biking?
Oh my God. There are a few moments. There's like the first moment I fell in love with riding a bike and feeling like this is pretty empowering. I'm out in nature and I'm by myself, which was probably about 7 years ago. And then after I experienced some loss 3 years ago, my dog died and we went to Sedona, and I discovered a different love for mountain biking where I was able to be in a space that I knew he was with me. So it was kind of different. It was like a different challenge in mountain biking, but also a spot where I knew, like, I felt him with me. So to me, that was just like another calling. I actually have him back here. That's him that's Dexter up there. I used to have him on like my, what do you call it? The thing that sits behind I can't talk. Hold on, let me grab it. Shirt. Falling here.
Oh, the wheel fenders or whatever.
Yes, the fender. Thank you.
Yeah. That's sick.
That's my boy.
That's so cool. I've never seen like I know people make like cool art and stuff on it, but I've never seen one like uniquely personalized like that.
Yeah, my cousin who makes our logo and all the things that we do, she created this for me, so I could put it on my bike because my bike was orange, and now I don't have an orange bike anymore. So he just stays by me and watches us as we do videos.
Nice. Well, how many bikes do you have now?
Personal bikes, 2, but I have 7 in my garage right now.
Wow.
Very fortunate.
It feels like skiing and mountain biking. It's like you just become collectors of them.
Yes. Yeah, for real. Fortunately for us, it's like companies are like, here, demo it. No woman has demoed this bike or done a video. Please do something with it. So it's been great. But my wife is getting to the point where she says, it's getting a little ridiculous. You need to get rid of some bikes here.
They'll just be like Cali demo days out of your garage.
You know what? That's one of my neighbors. He's like, let's go to the local community's bike shop in Mia's garage. That's
That's
hilarious. You know what, though? I think I'm going to learn to ski this winter. We might have to talk.
do it. You guys have some good mountains down there.
We do. I used to cross country ski way back in the day when I lived in Australia. Never downhill ski. So I don't know. I told my wife, I'm like, I might want to learn to ski this year.
How do you is cross country skiing in Australia just going across sand?
That's a good one. That's a good one. No, we get snow there, Jared.
I know. My life goal is to ski all the mountain resorts in the world, so I'm familiar that Australia does have snow to ski on.
Yeah, and we've got like Mount Buller is actually, I think, the biggest one. It's in Victoria, the state where I'm from. That's where you should go. Definitely.
One day we already got people riding Good Day out in Australia.
Yes, that's awesome. Oh, dude, my brother is a huge snowboarder. He's going to Japan for a month. I should have him pick up some of your goggles.
Do it.
Yes. Totally
So
reminded me of that right now.
what inspired you to start the network?
I was really frustrated with the lack of resources for women on the internet, and just in general, I couldn't really find reviews on bikes or demos of small bikes in shops for me to demo out. Because if you're spending $5,000 to $10,000 on something, you want to make sure it's something you want. And so just out of like sheer frustration, I didn't see that much, and I just thought, let's just do it. Let's just start a website. And by all means, I don't think I should be the only one. I think that should be others that do some similar things. Because my goal is to have this from different women's perspectives. It's not just mine. That's why I have like Becca and Candace and Alexis, all these women helping me with content, because, their point of view is just as important as mine. So, yeah, out of sheer frustration. And then here I am with the network, starting getting it to grow.
It's super rad, and seeing what you've already built and what the future will see. I think, nothing but up. I know you guys are all like bike park riders, so you don't like to hear that, but
no, I'm actually, I'm like I should say park riding this was my first year park riding. I'm normally more of a tech, like a Sedona enduro type of rider. And then you go to a bike park and you're like, yeah, this is what I want to do. Like, this is why I need an e-bike. I don't want to pedal ever again. No, just kidding. But no, cross country is fun. That's what you're doing now, right? You're doing a lot of enduro and cross country stuff as well.
Yeah, and then a few little bit of shuttling and stuff like that. Haven't done a bike park yet, but I'm on a hardtail, so.
Yeah, we need to change that, friend. You need a full suspension.
Yeah, full squish, hopefully coming in March or April.
Yay! I love that for you. I can't wait to see your new bike.
Yeah, I'm stoked. And the segment boys have been hyping up YT, so we might be going that route.
Well, let me talk to you about Revel first. Don't pull the trigger on YT just yet.
I actually met some of the Revel guys. Their rep was in Revelstoke when I was down there.
Oh yeah, cool people, right?
Yeah, super cool bikes.
Yeah, I love their bikes. I have 2 of their bikes now.
That's sweet. So you had talked about it before, of like, how when you first were starting, it was like empowering. How do you think mountain biking empowers women differently than other sports?
Oh man, the community aspect of it is just amazing. So I think it stems from a lack of representation, and so many women see it. And now it's starting to become this movement where we know how to connect with each other. Social media is such a powerful force for that, right? Like the Instagram and the YouTubes and everything is connecting it. So I think it comes out of that sheer passion to want to be represented in multiple different ways. I think that's really how you get it. And a lot of us women in the industry, or just women who are just getting into the sport, that we just support each other. It's literally about the Stoke. I went to Rome Fest last year, and I never thought I would seriously be around women that are just hyping you up the whole time. Like, if they were around me on my everyday life, I would never be depressed, because it's all like, yeah, dude, come on, let's go. You got this, Yeah, the sheer Stoke and the camaraderie and the community and everyone supporting each other is really, really outstanding. I think that's what helps empower each other. And we got to do it for the next generation. I mean, your daughter is going to be born any day now. Hopefully she's a future mountain shredder.
Hopefully, I want to get the shotgun seat so then she can just ride on the handlebars, basically.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that's going to be so cool. You're going to have to wait a bit,
Yeah.
she can hold her head up, but that's still going to be pretty cool.
Skiing will come first because you can basically stand upright and just like go down little slopes to get used to it.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cute. I want to see her in her little skis. Does your wife ski as well?
Yeah, she does. That's how we met.
Oh.
Because when I did my first degree in engineering, I got quite depressed because 7 course loads in engineering with all that is not a fun time. So then I went skiing with a couple of the residence trips and found like I really loved it. So then I made like my life goal to ski all the mountain resorts in the world. And then I had dated other people who didn't ski. So then my requirement when I was dating was like, girlfriend has to ski.
Well, I'm glad that worked out for you guys.
Yeah, I still remember she always jokes about it. When she first started, she had like flames on her skis and like every mismatched color of like blue with like pink and like all these different like colors that weren't matching. And then now she's got like some serious skier girl swag.
Good for her, man. Good for her.
And she rips, so that's always sweet.
I'm sure she does. You guys need to teach me to ski. We need to come to Canada.
100%. And your dollar goes far up here.
Oh yeah, it's like in Australia.
I think it's 70 cents. So you get an extra 30 cents every dollar.
It's not too bad. It's worse in Australia for Australians, not for me.
Yeah. yeah. I was looking at the Aussie dollar because people were like wanting to ship stuff, and then I'm like, wow, you guys get like screwed right now on conversion rate with even the Canadian dollar.
I think it's at like 65 cents or something, 62 cents. It's kind of low.
Yeah. But speaking of community, like even like I was in Revelstoke for the Revy 50 and the women's Revelstoke Enduro, and like we had a group with all the vendors and stuff like that. And one of the things that got said was mountain biking is the biggest, tightest community that you don't know exists. Like if you don't mountain bike, you're like,
yes. That is a statement right there. That's so true.
Yeah, like you come like you'll be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna try mountain biking, and then you come into it, and then you're like, oh, there's a group here, there's a group here, there's a group here, there's like it's everywhere.
Yeah,
but like
and that's so true.
You don't know it exists until you like go looking for it.
Yeah, and that's so true. And that's one of the things I wanted to develop on the site is I have a map now with all the communities from across the world, because I think we need to know about each other and we need to connect with each other, right? So, and I'm sure there are a ton out there that we don't know about. So this would be cool to help get the message out, go on the website, send us an email, say, hey, put us on the website. It's a free service. We don't charge for it. It's just purely for us to find each other and to ride with each other, which is, again, like empowering as heck. But I love that statement. It's the biggest community that you don't know. I love that so much.
Yeah, I learned about an Australian bike community that was just popping up.
Which one? Tell me.
I'd have to. I'll find it and send it. It would take way too long for me to search my Instagram DMs. That's the problem with sending DMs to every follower is everything starts to track down.
I had to like start taking screenshots to remind myself to get back to people because I felt so bad. It was taking me forever and I'd lose track. Now I have a better system, but I feel your pain. There is a huge group in Australia, the Gravity Girls, and they're in like 3 or 4 different states. There's the Western Australia, Tasmania, Canberra, and there's also the Mountain Bike Ladies Australia group, and that group is exploding. I have them on the website too. In Australia, it's crazy, dude. Like my mom sent me this article about 2 or 3 months ago. The government in the state of Victoria, where I'm from, is investing or has invested close to like I want to say $2 to billion in infrastructure for mountain biking. I want to say it's billion with the B.
That's wild.
Yeah.
And yeah, it is Gravity Girls.
Yeah, Gravity Girls, they're awesome.
Because they just popped up as they just became a nonprofit, I think, a little bit ago to raise funds.
Yeah.
Because they were getting so big.
I mean, good for them. We got to do that, right? We have to find each other and empower each other to do this stuff. Yeah,
100%.
$6.3 billion is what the industry is worth in Australia. So they started to invest in all this stuff, infrastructure for it. It's awesome. I can't wait to go riding in Australia.
That's wild. Edmonton needs to listen and just recognize the trails in here.
I mean, it takes a lot of advocacy to do that. Let's find groups up in Edmonton to get that going.
We do have Edmonton Mountain Bike Alliance, and they fight the city every time, but it's like, and push forward and make change, but it's like, it's such a slow thing. Like the government is always a slow thing for some strange reason.
Yeah, I mean, they have cushy jobs, and I don't want to say too much. I don't want to get hate from people that work for the government. I used to work for the government, so.
But it's like, we have over 500 kilometers of single track in our river valley, and
Dang.
like we have everything from blues to blacks. Obviously not like mountain level black. Well, actually, there's probably a few crazy ones, but like,
yeah.
I always say it's like, if you can't ride Edmonton, you probably shouldn't go out to the mountains. So it's like we could become like the Alberta mountain bike mecca.
Why not? I want to help you make that happen. I'm gonna hook up with your people right now. Edmund Mountain Bike Alliance. I've never been to Canada. I really need to go to Canada.
It's nice. We're all friendly. We have igloos and meese.
Oh god.
And you won't get shot at. You won't get shot at up here. As likely. Yeah. There's a little
always
bit of
gun positive.
Violence, but not as positive. Much. Yeah. So what's been the most rewarding part of running the network so far?
Oh my God, so much. Seeing the community come together, seeing women, even if it's just one, sometimes it's just one person that emails us and says, I love this review. You really helped me find something that fits. Or seeing the young Groms come up and want to be a part of it and tagging us and be like, share it, let's do it. Showing the different women empowerments that's out there, showing ladies ranging from 15 to 70 riding bikes and shredding and breaking that stigma that age is literally just the number, that it doesn't matter how old you are, you can ride, and just seeing the explosion of women from all ages getting on the bike and having fun for the first time like that. It sounds corny as heck, but it gives me the chills, just talking about it. It's amazing to see that women have that calling to do something they've always loved and they do it, right? That to me is super inspiring. It's just to see them get on a bike and do it.
Well, and it's interesting you say that, because I have a friend, Danny, and she's making this super cool magazine called, it was a magazine and now it's a women's group, and it's helping using brain knowledge and whatever the proper word of that is to study the brain. But she coined it the better not.
The better not. I love that.
The better not thought. And it's especially in offices and the business structure, it's in the back of them, for some reason it just comes and it's I better not say something. I better not do this. Yes. And you probably see it in mountain biking. It's I better not go do that. And then it's they go and do it and they're like, oh my God, this was the most fun ever.
Yes. I had that conversation with another female rider today. She's a kick-ass rider, professional mountain bike athlete. And she was telling me how she was doing this feature with one of her friends on her e-bike. And that for some reason, it's in a feature she's done many times on her regular bike, never had an issue, loves this section. But on the e-bike, she was having this thought of man, this bike's too heavy. Am I going to make it? Is this going to, it's that I better not try it because I think I'm going to fall or I think something's going to happen. Obviously she ended up overcoming that and she did it. And she's like, oh yeah, why did I think that was so hard? Here, I'm going to do it again. So even like the most professional people in their industry and their sport have all those doubts in their heads all the time. So I think what your friend's doing is great.
Yeah, it's super cool. I'm stoked to see it continue to grow.
Send me the info for that later offline too. I'd like to follow it.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's maggie.org or joinmaggie.org, but I'll find it and put it in the comments so then other women can find it too, because it's super cool what she's doing. What's been, awesome. Can you just discuss a significant obstacle you've overcome with the network and how you did it?
There's a few. One of them is having people wanting to take you seriously. It's like people wanting to take you seriously when you're kind of new to this industry and they don't know you and they don't know if they want to trust you or so I'm an extremely resourceful person. And so I know how to network really well. And I think just using what I know, how to engage with people was really helpful to break that barrier of me being like shy or scared of rejection or whatever. I just did it. I just had to reach out to a few other women in the business who gave me some really encouraging advice. And they said, one of them told me, just send it, just send the email, just send the text. Just like, it's not going to get much more perfect than what you have it. Stop reworking it. You know what I mean? Because we tend to have that imposter syndrome sometimes of, oh, but is it good enough? Are they going to, you know? So I think just reaching out to people, overcoming that imposter syndrome and of like, people aren't going to take you seriously. And just making connections. Like the biggest hurdle now is staying afloat with funds, because I do have a full-time job. This is my passion project that hopefully I want it to become something that I could do more on a full-time basis, because there's the potential is there and it's huge. So that's a hurdle I'm overcoming now, but I know it's something that I'm going to be able to reach at some point. I mean, I've come so far in the last year. I've met so many of the goals that I've wanted to meet that I'm pretty excited at how far I've come, and that imposter syndrome is still there, but you know.
The thing that I find wild about the imposter syndrome is like, and I'll have it like on a daily basis, but it's like when you start looking back at your goals and you're like, oh, beat that one, beat that one, beat that one. Okay, got to this one. And it's like, for some reason you still have it. And then I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, Vanessa from Mountain Riders Collective, she once told me, I was having like a really down day. It was probably like a couple months ago, and I was talking to her about something, and I was just really disillusioned with what was going on. And she looked at me and she was like, because this was on FaceTime, and she said, look at how far you've come. You told me a year ago this is where you wanted to be, and look at where you are now. And that just totally put it into perspective for me. I was like, you're right. It's going to take a minute, but yeah, I did meet the goal. I did meet the goal I set that I wanted. Right. So, it's good to have people like that in your corner. You know, it's good to have friends that lift you up like that.
100%. She's super rad. I got to go riding with her in Kelowna when I was there.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, they had a little group ride. So Knox Mountain, we rode up at like 33-degree heat.
Oh my God.
What is that into?
It's like 95.
Yeah, 93, 92.
Yeah, it's pretty hot.
Yeah. I'm impressed that you know the like quick conversions where like
I came from that world. I came from that world in Australia where everything is Celsius and you know, kilograms, because I still talk to my family and my mom always tells me stuff and I'm like, oh, okay, that's this many pounds, you know.
Yeah. Well, and it's weird. Like Canada's like a hybrid. Like well, it is 100% like Celsius and kilograms, but and maybe like younger generation, but for like my generation and my parents, it's like we use Celsius, we use kilometers, but then like we talk in like inches. Like so I talk like I'm 6 foot 1 inch and I'm 200 pounds. Whereas like I know where my kilograms are, but it's not something I commonly say.
That's so odd. Yeah. It's not like 180 centimeters and, you know.
Yeah. 90 kilos
or something. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a strange one how the brain works. But yeah, speaking of like, looking at goals and everything, my favorite saying is like, the fastest way to success is to get to year 8.
Ooh, that's a good one. Crap, we
Yeah.
got a way to go, dude.
100%. But it was when I was starting to build this and like people are like, oh, we can help you get like $50,000 revenue in a month. Like, well, just sign up with our thing or whatever. I'm like, I've done a few ecom courses. I've done everything like this. And I'm like, you kind of get the same knowledge and it's like, you build this thing, but it's like the one thing that you can't build is time.
Yes. Oh my God. You're killing it with all the good sayings today, friend. That's so true. You
Well,
have to be kind because time is the one thing you can't control.
one, I don't know if you're familiar with the entrepreneur Alex Hermosi.
Yeah, I think you told me about him a little while ago.
But I was listening to his one
Yeah.
podcast and he had said, he's like, the thing I like about business is, or like the bets I like to take are the time bets. It's like, business is you put more time in, the person who outlasts is the one who wins at the end of it.
Yeah, that's a good one too. Because it's true, because it's the one who just stuck it out and was able to get it what they wanted to do, achieve their goal, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And when everyone is like this, I'm like, okay, so when did the super big e-commerce person like start? Oh, and they were like, oh, they're like 10 years old. And then the magazine Founder, which is an Australian entrepreneur magazine, they were on like year 8. And like, so like they popped out 3 years ago. So I'm like, or no, they were on 11 years. And then, so like 3 years, they popped up at year 8. And then I started asking like local entrepreneurs who have done big things. And I'm like, so when did it stop getting crazy? And people are like, oh, that 7 to 9 mark. Like, you might have big ups, but then you'll have like big downs. And then when it starts to get steady is like, yeah, around that 7 to 9 mark. And even sometimes further, like look at Starbucks. Like they started in the 70s and didn't get big till the 90s and 2000s.
What's hard though is when you find an industry or a business that is solely dependent on another. So for example, a mountain bike coach who's done really, really well for 10, 11, 12 years, but is reliant on sponsors to keep the funding and to keep it going as well. But then the industry's taking a dip, and then that will ebb and flow. So it's not consistent where you hit like year 8 and you still go. You're still kind of reliant on something bigger to funnel things for you,
Yeah. Well, and speaking of like sponsorship and like, like what I say is like, all the work I did today was for like a year from now or like 2 years from now. It's not for today.
Yeah, that's a really good way of looking at it too. I spent a while doing work on the website today and I'm like, it's worth it because it's going to pay off. Someone's going to like this. Someone's going to enjoy it. Someone's going to take benefit from this. So maybe in a year or so, we'll expand it more.
Yeah. Well, and SEO is like the silent, amazing funnel, but it takes so long to build it.
It does very much, but I'm seeing some growth with my SEO. So it's time. You start it now and you see how it goes in a year or two.
Yeah, year 8, right?
That's awesome. I love that so much.
So, speaking of like, the better not and all this, how do, and I won't say you, but I'll say it as we, like, how do we address the challenges faced by women in a predominantly male sport?
Oh my God, what a great question. I think we need to take lesson from what has happened with a bunch of trailblazers in the past, right? So we have to stick together. We have to educate and advocate. And there's a lot of that already going on. But one of the biggest comparisons that I tell people is you look at football, women's soccer, right? I was at the Sydney Olympics in 2000. I was the translator for the Brazilian women's soccer team. I got to see a lot of what happens in an Olympic setting for women's soccer. There was probably 50 people in the stands watching the women play. This is in 2001. And then you go to today, 20 years later, and women's soccer is one of the biggest grossing sports in the world. Like it outgrossed the men's World Cup last year. it's like, it's just growing outstandingly. I can't even put it into words. Like, I can't even succinctly say how happy I am to have seen the growth, like 80,000 people watching women's soccer at a stadium. And that all comes from the same thing: hard work, advocacy, education, women who are willing to put their lives on the line to speak up and not be liked and be labeled as aggressive or, hostile or ungrateful or whatever. There are a lot of women who went through that so that others can have that exposure, right? So there's a lot of women who experienced that with the whole free ride thing that was happening this year. Some women were speaking out and some people were giving them crap about it. Some women weren't, and they were also giving crap about it. So it's like a lose-lose situation. But at the end of the day, they were advocating for their sport and they're putting themselves out there. And I think that's what it's going to take. It's working together, and education first and foremost. 100% education was first and foremost.
And do you, with women's soccer, did you find the athletes came at it with like a more grassroots method? Like they were out there speaking to the fans a lot more than you'd see in other things?
They were, and from that experience, I was only really with the Brazilian women's soccer team. They don't mingle. The teams don't really mingle. But to my knowledge of how soccer came up in Australia, that's how it was. It was pretty much grassroots. And up until 8 years ago, a lot of the women that were on the national team for Australia were working at Starbucks part-time to make ends meet. And now with the push from having female leagues around the world, that is all changing. Thank God. They're getting paid what they deserve. Although not really, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think the U.S. women's team is getting paid the same now. I'm not sure. My friend Melissa is super into that. She knows all the things that's happening with the women's soccer team. So I have to ask her about that.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of how, when I was in university, our campus ski club, we built it to be one of the largest ones in the world. We were 2,400 students in a campus size of 11,000. So 24% of the student body, and our student union feared us, and our athletics also ignored us. But it was like we ran everything on campus, and how we did it was just grassroots, because it's like the hockey teams and all the sports teams wouldn't hang out with people because being varsity, you're the cool kids on campus. But it's like we'd just bring everyone and go skiing, and anyone from a beginner who's never done it to professionals, because it's like, how do you describe a skier at the end of the day? It's like there's accountants, and there's like marketing people, and there's entrepreneurs, and everyone loves skiing, but they're all vastly different people. So it's like, just build a space for anyone to be a part of it, and you'll take over your.
And I think you're right in that sense that with mountain biking, there are some who feel like they are gatekeepers of the sport and feel like unless you're a pro racer, you don't belong. We're in this space, which is complete nonsense. Whether that comment was made in jest or not, it's still not okay, because a lot of people feel like, oh, well, then I'm not going to ride my bike. Like, if I'm not good, I'm not going to go out there. And what we like to say is, if you're having fun, that's all that matters. And if you're invited, you should go, because people want you there. It doesn't matter how slow or fast you are. Get on your bike and go have a good time. And I think you're right. But having to be more inclusive in a grassroots setting is great. We need to educate those who feel they are gatekeepers of the sport to say, no, you're not.
I don't get it. And with skiing, had Pro Deal, had a few, a lot of free gear, and it's like, there's still people better than me. So it's like, why not focus on having fun? I can be 5 minutes faster down a double black run and be waiting at the bottom for 30 minutes for my friends, or you can help them get better, have more fun, have more stoke. And
and at the end of the day, no one's really judging you. They're so worried about how they themselves look, that I don't think anyone really cares. But sometimes I still have that feeling. So I have a good friend of mine who's an amazing shredder, And there's a place over here where I live called Rocky Peak, and she kills it down that section. And just the other day we were hanging out and she's like, let's just go. And I'm super intimidated to ride with her, dude, because she's an amazing rider. But then I get to my own head and I'm like, why? She wants to ride with you. Like, let's just go ride. Like, who cares? You walk features. You tell people this all the time. Practice what you preach, Mia.
We all have that little like ego or like, like the voice. It's like, oh, I'll tell other people, but I won't do it myself for some strange reason.
I'm trying to be better at that. I'm trying to be better at that for sure.
But it's true. Like I started riding, like this is my first year mountain biking, and I still hadn't, I think it became like September when I started calling myself a mountain biker. And it was because I was doing 100 kilometers a week.
Dude, that's amazing. I don't even do 100 kilometers a week. And well, I would just myself a mountain biker.
Well, exactly, right? Like, but it's like because I had just started, I'm like, yeah, I do it like casually, and then they're like, oh, what do you ride this week? I'm like, oh, I went out 5 times at 20 kilometers in the river valley each day, and they're like, oh, you mountain bike? I'm like, oh, I guess so.
Yeah, dude, you're the ones that actually mountain bike. You pedal, you exercise. Some people just like to go downhill, and that's okay. They're still mountain bikers.
Yeah. I like it. I like the shuttles at Baseline Mountain. You'll have to come up. We'll need to bring the Cali girls up to Baseline to meet them. Like the Stoke is unreal. Like I've never gone somewhere, like I'm on a hardtail and I've never come out before, and like they're all like welcoming. They're like, get in our shuttle truck now, and take me up to the top of the mountain. And then I'm like, I haven't ridden this one. They're like, that's okay, we'll wait for you, and like whatever. And then it's like when you see them do the run on their own, it's like they're down in like 2 minutes. And like our first one, we did it in like 20, I think, or something like that. Like, but
doesn't matter.
No, exactly. But it's like they just like to share the Stoke. And like this is the wild thing. Like, and maybe like this happens everywhere else because everyone has multiple bikes. But like when I show up there sometimes now, like people have 2 bikes and they'll be like, here, just park the hardtail, go ride up my full suspension for the day. I'm like, okay.
Why not? They're giving you a full suspension, you may as well.
Well, yeah. And like, it's just wild. Like I've never seen that in anything else.
It's good. Yeah, the community really is amazing. And it's all about sharing that Stoke, right? And allowing others to experience the same thing. Did I have that recently with someone? Alexis and I went to Sky Park. We've gone a few times, but one time I had Specialized sent me, it's not this one, but Specialized sent me a Levo to demo for a while. And I was like, dude, here, just take it. Just go ride it. Just have fun with it. And she also now took the transition relay. They sent us a relay for us to ride for a bit. And I really want her to just take it and ride it and have a good time on it, So I think it's good that we could share those experiences with people. Be like, take it. Let's do it together.
Well, and I think when you start giving and doing, it's like, I think it's kind of the secret to like life, maybe, because it's weird. It's like, you feel really good when you see someone else have the same enjoyment that you did. Like they just light up and have fun. Like I had this last night when I was teaching my friend skiing. Like he's gone a couple times, but then I'm like, okay, this is how you do it in practice. And then like this one run, he like did like turns, and then his like brain like lit up of like how the body was supposed to like do it. And it's like that Stoke and like that excitement is like, it's so addicting to like feel when you help someone.
Yes, that's true. That's one of the reasons why I've considered going into coaching, is because I feel like it's just that empowering moment of a light bulb. Exactly what you said. Someone's enjoyment and being like, oh, I can actually do this now. Like just that little tidbit of them learning to do something and gave them the confidence to go forward and do it. But I have so many things I want to do. I don't know if I will go into the coaching aspect of it. We'll see.
Yeah. I mean, just giving advice and going on fun group rides is enough too, right?
Yeah, very true. Very true.
Well, and like the weird thing about life is like, because like, like that joy is in and itself enough right there. But then it's like when you put energy out, for some reason it comes back to you stronger, which I find really wild, because it's like, you're helping someone because they love doing it, like they don't want to learn and like that, and you get joy from that. But then it's like, 2-3 years down the road from all the positivity, like good stuff just comes back.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with that. I think just helping people is in our nature sometimes, especially you and I, like we thrive on that stuff. And um, we should just keep doing more of it, Jared. I think you're going to teach me to ski. I just had a moment. I think you're going to be my ski teacher.
Sweet. Well,
Let's
I
get
was
you to
saying,
California. Hold on. Oh no, you're about to have a baby. You can't come to California.
well, you come up to Canada. It's cheaper for you anyways.
Is it really?
Your dollar goes further.
Oh, that's right. We were just talking about that. All right, let me Google flights to Edmonton.
Well, you and your wife can have it as your birthday present, because an ear infection isn't a birthday present.
Yeah, no, it's not. And I think that's what I got on Saturday night when we went out for my birthday. Poor Alexis, she's like, "What are your symptoms?" Because she also wasn't feeling good yesterday. I felt so bad.
Well, and I said it's good to teach people, because it's like, if you can teach adults, kids are the easier ones to teach. So I'm like, to my friend, I'm like, me teaching you right now is just me getting ready for a year to when I teach my daughter to start picking up. She'll just pick it up a lot faster.
Dude, that's true. Kids pick it up like that.
Well, they just send it. It's like, as adults, we talk about like walking the trail and walking the feature first, and then the kids just like, yeah, I'm walking it on my two wheels and I'm in the air now.
That's so true. That is so true. My goddaughter is 4. She's gonna be 5 in March, and her parents just upgraded their bikes, and we got her a pedal bike for the first time. And I think this kid's gonna just lose her mind. I'm gonna love watching her on this bike. It's gonna be so good. I can't wait.
Well, it's cool to see the striders, because like learning biking, we never had that stuff.
Yeah, that's right. We never had that stuff.
And I feel it just teaches balance so much better.
Yeah, it does. I mean, I taught one of my nephews to ride a bike when he was 11. And then he picked it up so quickly. He's like, I should have done this earlier. I thought it was going to be hard. But the strider is good.
So when's what are we gonna call the new women's mountain biking like event, since Red Bull dropped the ball on that one?
Oh my gosh. Well, formation was what we were calling it for a while, but I don't know, dude. Did you see that Crankworks is now allowing women to compete? So that was like a really big deal that just came out of that. Becca's doing a whole article on us for that. She's got her finger on the pulse when it comes to that stuff. But I don't know. What do you think would be a good name for it? Shredders? No.
I don't know. So I was talking about this in entrepreneurship. So businesses, when they hit $1 billion valuation, are called unicorn status. But and then we talk about VCs, so venture capital, and like 0.025% of companies every year get VC funding. So it's like super small. And then women's entrepreneurs only get 2.4% of all VC funding. So it's like 2.4% of 0.025%. So like super tiny. So I'm like, women's founders should be like called like gods, like mega unicorns, or like Godzillas. Cause like if they got that, they're gonna F shit up. Like they're driven. Like so it should
Godzilla shredders. I don't know. Something like that magnitude of just gigantic and big and amazing. Oh my God, that would be amazing. I don't know. I think I need to go after some of that money too.
We should just like create a Kickstarter or something to create something grassroots. And if everyone pitched $1 in like North America, like that's a lot of coin.
Yeah, let's talk offline. What's up, Johnny? Johnny's here.
Alexis is here. Jonna and Alexis.
These two fools. Johnny cracks me up. Have you gotten to meet Johnny yet?
I'm on his podcast tomorrow.
What? I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Depending
that is
on
so cool.
And Johnny, sorry, you missed the first 30 minutes. I was telling Mia, my wife is currently having contractions and we don't know if they're going to go away or not. So potentially might be having a little girl tonight. So Maybe not
Potentially
podcast
Mia is
tomorrow.
going to be on his podcast tomorrow. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Wait, did he start watching from the beginning? He's talking about time now when we were talking about time.
No, he was busy today, or he had said he was busy, so he just joined on. So what's the next upcoming project or future goals for Women's Mountain Bike Network?
Gosh, we have so much stuff in the works. We've got this e-bike series we want to launch. We've got the review of the Revel Ranger coming out next week. We are working with a brand called Good Day Optics. I don't know if you've heard of them, for us to get some goggles for the next bike park season. That's working its way.
They seem
We
cool.
are
I've heard a little bit. Their founder's a little weird though, I've heard.
no, whatever. Not so not. And so one of the biggest things we have coming up next year, at the beginning of next year, is we're going to start a forum on our website where women can come and discuss anything and everything they want. We want it structured in a way where everyone is welcome. There's no fees. Come and sign up and connect with other women around the world. And I think that's going to be huge, because for those who don't have Facebook or Instagram or anything else, like, it's an easier way for them to connect with other women. So that's something that we'll be launching sometime in January. And Ashley from Cosmic Dirt is helping us with that. So I'm super excited for that. It's going to be amazing.
Cosmic Dirt seems super cool.
Yeah, she's pretty cool, Ashley. She's pretty cool. She gives no F's about nothing. And I love that about her.
Well, and how it should be. Like, after like watching my mom go in 17 days, you realize life's short.
Yeah.
And then I like, especially in like right after, in July of last year, I was like, yeah, why am I doing this if I don't enjoy it? And then now I've kind of started collecting tattoos, and I'll go into entrepreneurship stuff and like business stuff and wear my hat and like a sweater and show my tattoos, and it's kind of like my little defense mechanism, because I'm like, if you're gonna judge me for this stuff, like, good, I don't want to take the time to like have a conversation with you.
Yeah, that's a good point, dude. That's a great point. When I was in law school, everyone saw my sleeves, and I had one person like, "You're gonna be a lawyer with a sleeve like full of tattoos?" I'm like, "Yeah. What's your point? I'm never stepping in front of a judge. I didn't want to be a litigator." But and they're like, "Yeah, but," and I said, "Yeah, I don't care. They're not judging me because of my tattoos. I just want to know if I can do my stuff, like."
Yeah.
So my company is great. The place I work is absolutely amazing.
Well, and I find law such a fascinating field. My parents are both lawyers, and like, how they're
That's
like,
great.
they have the, like, I don't know, because they get to make the like change the rules in this, maybe they just see themselves a little bit higher than everyone else. But it's like, when you have tattoos and when you look like a regular person, you can relate so much more, that it just goes a lot further.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true. But we're rule breakers. We're not rule followers.
Took me a while to, I only started getting tattoos in January of last year, and now I have, no, January of this year. Now I have 3.
Yeah, they're addicting. I just got this cactus. I thought my theory was, if I get a cactus tattoo, which I've always wanted, I'm not going to get stung by cactuses anymore. Didn't work very well. So
I think you needed them to use the cactus needles to make the tattoo.
yeah, that's a good point. But that would have never come out, dude. I got a cactus on my pinky when I was in Sedona a couple months ago. And up until like 2 weeks ago, I still had like a little thing in there that I couldn't get out. It was annoying. So annoying.
It's funny how they're like an inconvenient or like annoying down there, and then up here we have them as like houseplants.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But there's cactus everywhere here. So. My dad was here for Thanksgiving, and he was fascinated with the little prickly pear fruit that you have on top of the cactuses. And he grabbed one. We were out. He's actually riding my bike. He wanted to see what it was like to ride an e-bike. So he took my bike out. And then we were doing something, and he's like, "I just want to grab one of those prickly pears. I want to eat it." This dude, he made me carry it, by the way. and it has all these teeny tiny little needles in it, and I'm holding it and I'm getting like all these needles in my arm, in my hands. I just throw it out. I'm like, no, dude, you don't understand the pain, the pain.
Have you come across the women's motorcycle group called the Litas?
No, I haven't.
You should check them out because they have this really cool app that allows women to like go on it and make like little community pods.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like what I want to replicate eventually with like Good Day, where we have like our pods across
Nice.
the world. But like, yeah, their app and everything and like their community that they've built is phenomenal.
Yeah, they'll send it to me as well. I want to check them out for sure.
Okay, yeah, we have to send you a
Please.
lot,
Yeah.
and I'll put it in the comments,
And let me
so then
know when,
everyone else can check it out.
yeah, and I'll be sure to share this too, so a lot of people can check out all the good things that we've got going on. It's amazing.
Yeah, I'm curious where we see technology influencing the future of mountain biking.
How so?
Well, I
What
mean,
type
like,
of technology?
like we currently see it with materials, like with carbon and everything, and like now we have
Hmm.
carbon wheels, and I don't know. It seems wild to me to see a wheel made out of
Okay,
carbon.
so here's something that I could share with you. Revel bikes, if you haven't looked at this yet, they created a mountain bike out of a 3D printer, like a full-on functioning mountain bike, 3D printed. And it is, I haven't seen it in person yet. I'm hoping we can make it to Colorado this spring to hang out with them and I could see it. But that's where they think the future is going. So Adam, the founder of Revel, he's an amazingly intelligent guy, really fun, amazing mountain biker and adventure person. He was sharing some stuff with us earlier this year at the Sedona Mountain Bike Festival. And some of the ideas is that, like, imagine if they do start 3D printing bikes and you can customize everything on the bike. You can customize your head tube angle, your triangle, your wheelbase, everything. And then if something breaks, you just like push a button and it recreates it. You take it to a shop and they fix it. Like, I think that's one of the places that the future of mountain biking is going. It's going to be a minute, but I think that that's super cool. It's like, here, let me just order a bike online. It prints and ships to you in a week, you know?
Well, and think about like the environmental impact and the sustainability now when you can like don't have to make something until
Mhm.
like the person wants it. Like we use
Yeah.
it with our printing. Like we'll use like we only print now and manufacture our apparel when someone orders it because it's better than making 100 and just sitting on them and then now we have to put it on sale to
Yeah.
get this back.
Yeah.
But offline we'll have to connect. Maybe you can send Adam my contact because like we're doing what we want to build for optics is we're working with building an app because like your phones have LiDAR now, so I can
Yeah.
actually use the phone to scan your face. I can upload that into 3D into a 3D printing model. I can
Uh-huh.
tweak the frames to that, so then
Yeah.
I can make it bigger or smaller based on head shape,
That's
and then 3D print it,
amazing.
and then 3D print it.
Wow. That is amazing. And that, because that fits perfectly. There's no issue. There's no like, wow, Jared, you're an innovator, man. That's so cool. That is
Well,
so cool.
it when 3D printing lot like the patent came off and what's allowed people to like make printers cheap and do everything has really changed the industry and everything because you
Yeah.
can make it once you can figure out how to print properly and the technology continues to get better, you can
Yeah.
make it on a one-to-one scale, so then you
Yeah.
don't have to um, have more
Break
waste
so
and
much
everything.
waste. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's so true. That's awesome, dude. I can't wait to see what you come up with that too.
Yeah, I'm excited to see where it goes. um,
Yeah, 3D printing is the next big thing, I think. I mean, I don't know. There's so much. Everything keeps changing in this industry. I mean, what's next? Wireless braking. Everything else is wireless. Imagine if your brakes are going to be wireless. Like that's a recipe for disaster. One thing that boggles my mind with mountain bike technology is the RockShox has this flight attendant shock. Have you heard of that?
no.
So the shock itself, and I think it's a rear shock and a front fork. Um, automatically adjusts the rebound based on how you're riding and where you're riding.
That's cool.
Which is like mind-boggling to me. And now SRAM has something same as RockShox, same company. They have, and I don't know how this works. I just saw a video for this a couple days ago, where they'll do the automatic shifting for you as well, based on your cadence and where you're riding. So you don't even have to sit there with the pod and like shift anymore. And I don't know how that works, but I want to know how that works. Like I need to learn how that works because it sounds so cool.
Just wait until bikes start breaking for us.
No, don't say that.
Well, I mean, if they're already selecting gears and selecting rebound, like we have e-bikes where they bike for us already.
I mean, no, not all e-bikes do that. Like you have to actually pedal on the ones that I have.
When you get to go on turbo mode, it basically doesn't feel like pedaling.
Unless you're going on something super steep.
Well, I got to ride my friend's e-bike down in Calgary, and we were going up, I think, probably like a 20-degree slope. And yeah, I had it in 3+, and then just started pedaling, and it felt like I was pedaling on flat ground.
Were you pedaling on tech though? Was it tech stuff, or was it just like a fire road?
It was a dirt trail. Like it wasn't a fire road, and it wasn't super like rocky tech, because like once you get tech, you can't like blow through stuff because you'll just lose traction.
But I mean, you can. I took this heckler out this weekend, and there's a steep section of the trail here where I live, and Lauren, my wife's made it once on her regular bike because she's a machine. I've never made it. As a matter of fact, Alexis has done this trail with me. We all pushed our bikes this one time, but this weekend I told my wife, I'm like, I'm going to do this entire thing on the heckler. I'm going to put it on full boost and I'm going to climb through this thing. And there's some tech sections, really loose, really steep. I made it to the top on full boost and my heart rate was at 165. So I like, I don't want to hear people saying that you don't get to work out on e-bikes, because depending on the terrain, you're working your butt off, literally.
Yeah. Do you find with you able to go faster in some stuff? Like, because like that's the worry I hear from people, is like how it abuses trails too.
No, so I don't know how accurate Strava is when it comes to speed. But with the lighter e-bikes, for me, I don't feel like I will go as fast or even faster. So for example, with the Heckler, for example, this bike is so nimble. I didn't even feel I was on an e-bike going on the downhill, like at all. The Specialized is a little bit more centered to the ground, and they're about the same weight. And that one, I feel like I can go a little bit faster purely based on weight. But based on my Strava this weekend, I can go just as fast on either. So it clocked at 38 miles per hour on the downhill on the Specialized and 38.2 on the Santa Cruz in one section. So, I mean, and I think it was probably really close on my Enduro rig. So, you know, with the SL bikes, I don't think you would go as fast. Maybe with the full power, yeah. We'll have to ask Alexis. She's got a full power Levo.
Nice. Yeah, I've ridden a few. They can go. They got some oomph to them.
They do have some oomph to them. It's fun. It's fun to just lap.
Well, you can just go further, right? Like instead of doing like
yeah,
just 20K, you can get up to like 40, 50.
Yeah. And if you don't have the time, if you're strapped for time, like you're still getting a workout depending on what setting you're doing on the bike. And it's just, you can go farther. So, you know, I used to be one of those people, I'll admit it, that was like, ooh, e-bike, you're being lazy, blah, blah, blah. No, e-bikes are fun as heck. And if you say they're being lazy, you've never ridden one. That's all I'm going to say about that.
I think it's like anything. When there's something new, you'll always have people say like, oh, you can't do it. Like, I feel like when like the iPhone came out, people like, oh, like, why would you do that? Like, it's like, why do you need a computer in your pocket? And then now you look at it and you're like, yeah, well, everyone has one now.
Yeah. And some people have really big ones too.
Yeah. Well, like now the Samsung that like folds, like now it's like a tablet.
That thing's insane. I saw someone with that the other day and I'm like, I wouldn't want to carry that. I'm happy.
Well, I mean, it folds in half, so it's like my iPhone Pro Max.
Yeah. Yeah.
If Apple made one, I'd get one, but I've tried Android. It's I mean,
Not as
this will
good.
probably lose my 11 subscribers now, but like where I say I don't like Android, but
No. I mean, no, don't unfollow him because of that, people. Whoever's listening to this.
So since we're getting to that hour mark, how do you like find more good days or have more good days than bad days?
Oh, you with the amazing questions. Sometimes it's hard. I'm not gonna lie. There are days when it is kind of hard to find the good days, but I focus on something that I really enjoy. So if I'm feeling kind of down or frustrated, I will get on my bike and I'm just gonna go down the street and around the block. Um, or I go see my godkids, or I focus literally, I change my frame of mind to something that I enjoy just to put a smile on my face, and that's how I reframe it. Um, because, as you know, time is very, very precious, and you don't really have time to just be down all the time. I know I said time too many times, and I'm still going saying time. But yeah, I just think it's something I really enjoy, and I try and remove myself from a situation, and then my day gets better.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of what I picked up going through watching my mom pass in 17 is it's like, those weren't good days. They are great days. They weren't like amazing days, but there was good in them. And it's like when you look for it, you can find it.
Yeah, and that's true, and that's very true. So if you're having a bad day, like today, I wasn't feeling that great, and I was having a hard time at work. I got the opportunity to go next door and grab my neighbor's dog, and I hung out with her for the day. And so it was a crappy day, and it turned into a good one. And now I'm talking to you, so it's ending on a really good note. So you're right.
And,
It's about the good things that happen in those crappy days. That's what you should focus on.
and to wrap it up, can you share an inspiring story of transformation or empowerment that's come out of Women's Mountain Bike Network?
Oh my goodness. You with you with these amazing questions, Jared. So many. I have a friend of mine. She's 62 years old, and she used to be a road cyclist, and she was really, really scared to get on the mountain bike because she's had some health issues. And I got her to try an e-bike. She's 5 foot tall. She's not very tall. She's very short. She's very small. And I got to coach her on her mountain bike, and I got to teach her how to just the basics of cornering and braking. And that was just so inspiring to me because it made me feel like anyone can do this. This woman who's always been an athlete and who's now having the time of her life on a mountain bike at 62 years old, that to me was like, this is what I want women to see. I want other people to see this and see that they can do it. It doesn't matter if you're on an e-bike or not. Like that was really empowering for me. And it was empowering for her because to this day now, she calls me and she's like, Mia, I went over a curb on the bike. You were right. That thing just rolls on a 29er. And I was like, I told you. Like, that's all you got to do is a little bit of speed and you're good, girl.
Yeah,
That's super inspiring and motivating. I love that. I love that so much. Seeing people
that's
get
awesome.
joy out of something. Yeah. Hope that answered the question.
Yeah. So probably your one tip for anyone who wants to get into mountain biking or anything is just do it.
No, hell no. No, just kidding. Yes, just do it. Grab a bike, go and ride your bike. Don't listen to anyone who tells you can't do it, but obviously do it safely. Don't just go jumping off cliffs and stuff like that.
Well, I started saying as a joke, speaking of that, when like ever I hit something I've never hit before, I just yell out, "Time to die." Haven't died yet.
Oh, dude, you can't put that juju out there. Don't do that. Just say time to send.
That's fair. Well, thank you for joining me tonight.
You're awesome. Thank you for having me. And congrats on the new edition. Like I know your baby girl is going to get here any day now. So tell your wife I'm thinking of her and I'm wishing you guys all the best.
Thank you. I appreciate it, and I will. Have a good night. Bye.
Yeah, you too. Bye.